Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the TouchGrass Wrestling podcast. I'm your host. My name is Johnny Romano. And sit back and relax as we bring you this amazing interview with none other than Fife's own Daisy Jenkins. We discuss ICW. We discuss her going through the ranks. We discuss going through the pandemic and whether it would have been easier quitting than rising through the ranks to get to where she is today. We also discuss a monumental appearance at WrestleFest DXB, taking on the first ever homegrown Dubai female wrestler, and much, much more. Hope you enjoy, and if you do enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment on this video, and we'll bring you much, much more. And if you don't like it, remember, go outside, touch some grass. We're here alongside Fife's own Daisy Jenkins. Daisy, how are you? You all right?
Yeah, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, never been better. Lovely to speak to you for the first time. This is awesome. It's been a long time coming.
It has.
And I just want to get to know a bit about you. What are you doing right now? You chilling, or you been at work today, or what you been doing?
I've been at work today. I'm actually working away from home, so I'm sitting in a lovely hotel room.
Oh, wow. Is it paid for by work? Or?
Oh, yeah, of course it is.
Oh, wow. Wow, any free
Yeah. And it's
Prosecco
in
on the house?
Bristol, which is fine. Oh, no, not that far.
No, not yet.
No.
That's all to come. We're just coming off the back of a historical event in Dubai as you took on Dubai's first homegrown women superstar, Roxxy, at press start. First of all, let me just say, hell of a match. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Obviously, we did a review on it as well. Let me know your thoughts on the whole experience for you.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. I think whenever I think about it, and I tend to do this in podcasts as well, is that I overuse the word incredible and unreal and amazing and all those sorts of words, because I don't really have any other words to describe it. But genuinely, the whole experience was hands down the best experience of my life. So there's so much that I could say about it, but I think that shows how special it was for me. And I think people watching it back could feel it too. I think the crowd were incredible and really added to that special moment as well.
Well, yeah, I was going to say the crowd were absolutely red hot for you.
Yeah.
Against the homegrown hero. Can you imagine?
I know, I wasn't expecting it. I was not expecting it. I was expecting to come out and get booed.
Chicago style, CM Punk Cena.
Yeah, that's it. But I came out and I got a wonderful reception and I kept going with it. The energy was just there.
Yeah, the energy was mega. It's a great little setting as well, isn't it? There's the die-hard hardcore fans that are there every week as well. It was another sellout, 3 sellouts in a row. We're coming off the back of Trent Seven coming. We're coming off the back. We've had Mark Andrews. I know that you've done some work of him in the past as well. We've had Dan Maloney come over, Akira. We've had the women. We've had Alex Windsor, Charlie Morgan, Lana Austin. And now we've had Daisy Jenkins. And you will always have that tag as the first woman to take on the first homegrown woman in Dubai.
Yeah, and imagine having that and being added to the list of those people. That's a bit mental, isn't it?
It's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it.
Well, you've got it, so you got to.
Yeah, it feels very surreal to have that.
Was that a special moment, getting the call and being the first one?
Yeah, and it's all about timing as well. So it all came about, and in my mind, it's one of those situations that you can't really write and you can't prepare for, because it was just a whole load of the stars aligning all in the right way. So that makes it even more special that it was, never really written in the stars and they aligned and it happened. So yeah, very, very, very special.
How long were you in Dubai for? Was that your first time?
First time, yeah, and I absolutely love it. I'd move there in a second if anybody wants to move me over. But I got out of the airport at 3 o'clock in the morning on the Wednesday before the show, and I left at 11 o'clock on the Sunday.
Wow.
So, fleeting visit, but I managed to pack a lot in as well.
What did you get up to, can I ask?
Oh, I'd done loads of stuff. So I went to the Palm, which I told everybody at the show about, and they said that they'd never even done that. So that's cool. I got some cool pictures there. Wow. So done the view at the Palm. And then, so the Friday was the big day. I got picked up in the morning at 3 o'clock in the morning. I went on a hot air balloon for the sunrise. Done all of that. You get dropped off, driven through the desert in a 1950s Land Rover, breakfast at a camp in the middle of nowhere. I got to hold a falcon. I then went on a camel. Then went back to my hotel, got there about 9:30 in the morning, slept for 2 hours, and then went and done the X-Line zip line across the Dubai Arena.
Wow.
in the afternoon, and then I got the metro into to see the Burge and do the all and stuff, and then home
Wow. You did
by
fit a lot in.
I did.
So you're a bit of an adrenaline junkie then, aren't you, really?
Yeah, yeah. I don't waste a second. I
No
don't like it.
relaxing, no brunches, no
No,
nothing like that.
never, never. No, I'm just on the go all the time.
So you've done all that, and then you go to a
Yeah,
sellout crowd. You
yeah.
steal the show, in my opinion. You're unbelievable. You and Roxy, you had great chemistry. Like we say, it was great to see Roxy get that chance as well. You're the first person she's been in there with, female that she's been in there with. What were your thoughts on Roxy as a competitor?
Unbelievable. She's super talented, and I think you mentioned chemistry there. I think that's undeniable. And again, it's one of those things that you can't prepare for, and you can't really write. It just happens. So that was very special. I didn't really know much about her beforehand. I'd only really seen little like training clips and a couple of clips from the previous
Yeah, there's not
shows.
much
So
footage, is
again,
there?
yeah, again, kind of hard to prepare for, but I think I'm probably also the same. If people were to look at me, there's not a whole lot on me available to watch. So again, it just how cool is that that two people can come together and have that moment, but for it to be as well received as it was, yeah, very special.
And then we've had your trainer, Andy Roberts, on over here as well. He was on
You
the podcast as well.
did. How
Big
good
guy,
was that?
big, beautiful
Yeah,
man. Lovely guy. Unless he's in the ring. I
yeah.
won't want to get in the ring
I'm
with him.
representing. I'm representing them here.
FPWA, there you go. Fife.
There you go.
Fife is in the house, baby. Did he
Yeah.
give you any words of advice? Because he'd just been previously over as well, about a couple of weeks before.
Yeah, so I mean, even that's a bit crazy that it kind of aligned so quickly. And I think for from him coming back, I was away for work, and then I came back, and then I was leaving again. I think I only seen him for one training session the night before I left. So he gave me a good pep talk beforehand, and talked about the show and the sort of things that I could take into consideration and how to prepare for it. And talked a lot about the crowd. The crowd have a reputation as being one of the best crowds for people who've been there already. So we talked about that quite a bit. But yeah, he gave me a very nice pep talk before.
Was that the first time you wrestled internationally as well?
Yes.
Wow.
I'd
Wow.
only just wrestled outside of Scotland a few weeks before that. I wrestled in Wales in April, and that was the first time.
Wow. What a
So
way
yeah,
to
to then
start
move on to no, how
it.
good.
I love that though. That's exactly what it's all about. Taking risks, never saying no, because you
Yeah.
need to get your foot in the door as well. You want to be known, worldwide, internationally.
Mm-hmm.
You've skipped a few steps, but you've flown straight over. Have you even wrestled in England yet?
No.
Wow, so you go straight to the Middle East market, straight over to Asia,
Yeah.
and
I
I
only
love
debuted
it.
on shows last April.
Wow.
Yeah. I've done things very quickly, but I think having the confidence to do that will set me up,
Yeah.
because to have the confidence to say, right, okay, I'm still new, and here I go. Let's do this.
I love it.
Here's the chance. Let's put yourself out there.
Well, you have
Put all
to,
your eggs in one
because you never know when it'll come again. If you say no that
basket.
time, then all right, all right, she's not up for it. Okay, well, on to the next one. You would have missed out on being the first, to go with our homegrown talent. So good on you for just taking the plunge, not knowing much, never been to Dubai. No.
No.
Ever seen any of the matches? No. But my trainer's been there. He said it was a badass time, and I'm going to go and put a show on.
Yeah, and I'd met Shaheen a couple of months before that. He came and worked with us, so I kind of knew what it was all about. And I trained with I trained with Jason Reed as well, and he's
Yeah.
been out a few times.
Yeah, he's been a couple of times.
So yeah, I had a fair idea, but I wanted to see it for myself.
I love it. How did it all come about
Yeah,
then? You said you spoke to Shaheen and what? So he came over to FPWA, is that right?
yeah. So he came and worked on an FPWA show in March, and we had Wild Boar on that show too. It was FPWA versus New Wave Academy, who are based in Wales, and Wild Boar done a seminar the 2 days after that, and Shaheen stayed for that. So we met each other at the show, and I picked him up and brought him to the show, and we trained together the next 2 days. So we had like quite a good sort of relationship, sort of friendship, like training together and getting to know each other and stuff. And then I was going to be in Dubai anyway, so I messaged him and said, the shows look great, by the way. And I'd love to come and train with you guys, because I know there's a training school out there. And I was like, these are the dates that I'm going to be there. And he said, well, there's a show on.
Wow.
What do you think? So that's really what I mean about the stars aligning, is that I was there anyway, and I didn't just get to train with them. I got to do all of that too. So
You just got to take your opportunity when it comes, don't you, really? And obviously, Shaheen
yeah,
is the trainer of Roxxy too. So that basically
yeah,
means he handpicked you to take on his young Padawan.
yeah. How cool is that?
I
How
know.
cool is that?
You're the
I love
handpicked.
that.
We
Well, yeah,
well, you were.
situational, but
Well, yeah. Well, it all happens for a reason, doesn't it?
yeah,
The wrestling
yeah. But I
gods.
mean, he could equally have said, "Oh, just come along to the show again."
Yeah, just come down, whatever.
He
So
does it in the crowd.
well, yeah, why not? Yeah, put the signs in the air, clap, applause. We could have got you on commentary as well. There's loads of stuff there, isn't there?
Ah, could have been.
Yeah,
Yeah,
why not? Maybe next time. Maybe next
yeah,
time. Spoiler alert. Uh, what a weekend then. So your first match in Dubai and your first match review on a podcast as well.
yeah,
How was
yeah.
that?
Which which was
Was
very
it weird?
nice, by the way. It was surreal. Um, I listened to you guys done the prediction show before too, and I listened to it live, but I was sitting in Glasgow airport about to board the flight to Dubai, and I was sitting there just thinking how surreal it was to be sitting in a gate full of hundreds of people waiting to board a flight to Dubai, and I'm sitting listening to a podcast talking about me. Um, so surreal. And then to listen to it afterwards, I actually listened to it. So again, I listened to it live, even though the time difference, and I was setting up for the FPWA show that we had last week. So I got to listen to it with some of my close FPWA colleagues. And because they haven't seen the match, but it was nice to kind of share that review of it with them, because obviously they'd asked how it went, and I was talking about how amazing it was, and I was like, no, listen, other people said that it was good too. It wasn't just me.
We loved it. We loved it. It was an honor
So
to review it as well, because it was the energy that you just brought in, and it was like you'd been there for years, like you just fit in straight away.
yeah, and like I've had so many compliments about that, just from people that I met over there, and it it's really warmed my heart, honestly. Like, people have messaged me being like, your vibe's just so chill, like you're so positive, like just love the way that you come across and stuff. And I'm like, I'm just being me. Like, that's so nice for people to point it out. But also, like, when I was just doing stuff in Dubai, people kept asking me if I lived there. And I was like, I would, you
Yeah,
know,
bet.
let's make it happen. But apparently I come across like I have Dubai vibes. So that was
Yeah.
cool. So maybe that's why it was so easy for people to like me. But I think also, like, I do like to bring a certain energy, and I do like to put a lot of my personality into wrestling. So it's nice that it's received in such a way.
Oh well, we
It's
loved it. We
very
loved it.
heartwarming.
Well,
Oh, so does I. Thank you.
we've had you over. We've had Jason Reed over. We've obviously had Andy over. We touched on Andy. We're not going to make it the Andy
Mhm.
Roberts podcast. He's already had an hour of our time. Uh, no, we love being on there. It was fantastic. That was just before the event as well. It was about an hour before bell time.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
straight in,
He's a pro.
pro, calm as you like. How
Yeah.
long have you trained under Andy, and how did you come into meeting him?
So I've been training for just under 2 years, because of COVID lockdowns and stuff. So I'd originally always wanted to start wrestling. I actually changed my job to put me in a position where I could pursue it as even just as a hobby. I didn't really expect it to ever get to this level, but my original plan was to start training in 2020, and that obviously got interrupted. So I never properly started training until July of 2021, which is just under 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think during the first COVID lockdown in the UK, FPWA had put out that they were looking to recruit a new beginners class for when things opened back up again. And I think the post was up there for about 5 minutes, and I was already on it. My deposit was paid and everything.
Wow.
So it was through that. He's the head coach there. So started off in the beginners class, quickly moved up to the advanced, and then just it's now from there. And I've spent a lot of time there. I tell you.
Plenty of hours there.
I spend more time there than I do in my own house.
Well, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
It's really not a bad thing.
Getting your money's worth then.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Getting there. It's a good group of people too. It's like family. So.
Yeah, family. Was this all through COVID then?
Which part? Sorry.
When you started training, it was all through COVID.
So I'd originally
pandemic,
done. Yeah. So when we first started, gyms opened back up again in Scotland in October of 2020, and that's when wrestling schools were able to open up. But there was no contact sport allowed. That it was still banned. So the first few sessions that I'd done before the end of, so I think I only done 4, were all non-contact sessions. And then we had 6 months of online seminars where we had the likes of Piper Niven and Matt Cross and Danny Luna and Mark Andrews done one. We've done a lot of seminars where it was all on Zoom. And then things opened back up again, I want to say like the end of May. So it was a long time.
Wow.
To even just be waiting around to get properly started. And we done like a promo tournament and everything. And I had like this like Disney character that I'd come up with, and it was all just like, it's so funny to watch it back. And I hadn't met anybody in the school yet, because you could only go in at 3 people at a time, and you could only go into the ring on your own. Wow. So for the first 9 months of me being part of FPWA, technically, I hadn't met anyone. So it got to the July of 2021, and then that was when we were eventually allowed to start contact training. So I'd already done some stuff, but it was mainly just drills, rolls, bumps, that sort of stuff. And then added in another person when contact sports were allowed. So it was a bit of a different start to most people.
So it's like doing football training, but you're not allowed a ball yet.
Yeah.
That is mad. Yeah. And obviously, like being brand new into the business, I'm going to start wrestling. I can't wait to do a super kick. I can't wait to hit a 5-star frog splash or do a running bulldog or, whatever, figure 4. And then you walk in, you've paid your fee. Right, this is going to be awesome. Right, drop and give me 20, like what? But obviously, that needs to happen anyway. You've got to learn your basics, I imagine, before you can get one-on-one. But how mentally can that take a toll on you? You're like, right, I just want to get in now. Like, I know I'm ready for this moment. I feel like I'm wasting time here. Like, what? No contact. I mean, was it hard to stick with it? And would it have been a lot easier to just say, nah, I'm quitting. I'll come back after the pandemic?
So I think for most people, I think it would have been tough. Looking back on it in hindsight, I think I needed that time to really be able to be the person I am now. I think when I started, I wasn't ready. I wasn't in shape. It was COVID, so I was still drinking quite heavily.
Oh, we were all drinking at 5 a.m. There was no. Yeah.
So I wasn't ready at that stage. I was so out of shape, and I think in between that first element of it, and we were locked down for 6 months again before we came back in person, I lost 2 stone. And I got my fitness to a point where, because I kind of got a taste of like how hard it was going to be, even just from the little sort of like non-contact stuff that we were doing. I was like, oh, this is going to be really hard. And I knew that before getting into it. But I was an athlete when I was younger. I was a distance runner. So I knew like the mental aspect of quite high performing sport. I was in that before, and when I started training, my body just knew what to do. So the mental aspect was there, but I think if I had started without the non-contact stuff at that stage, I think it would have been way more difficult for me to stick with it. I think I probably would have beat myself up a bit more, and it would have been a bit more mentally draining. Whereas actually, I took that 6 months of being in lockdown and looking forward to the online sessions to really get myself in a position where I felt like I could really commit to it and commit to it in a way that I would be proud of. So when I look back on it, I think it all happened for a reason in terms of like the way that I got into it and the timing and everything. Because once I started, I went like this. I just started off doing 1 session a week, then it quickly became 2, then it became 3, then it became 4, and then it just went on and on and on and on. And I don't think I would have done that quickly if it had been at any other point. And I think that waiting for it just made me want it even more.
Yeah, I guess as well, when it's like a dangling carrot. So, you're waiting, it's another month. It's another month. I'm going to be in the ring soon. I'm going to be in the ring soon. I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there. And then it kind of, instead of giving you everything too soon, it kind of gave you more, key little jumping points. Right, I've got here now. Right, it's time to go here and here and here. And the way you've progressed, it's obviously been like quite a fast rise, really. Obviously, you've not had millions of matches now, but you've gone and you've learned the mental aspect of it, and then you've held off and you finally got in the ring and you showed you've got the passion. You've stuck through it with all the trials and tribulations. You've got through COVID. You've obviously started later in life as well. Like, was it 30 you started?
Yeah, I started at 30.
Right,
yeah.
so you and Trent 7,
I look
230-year-old.
than I am.
You do look young.
Good grip to the if you've got people like that.
You had an easy paper round then.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll take that.
There you go. No, but you must be proud. Obviously, starting through COVID. I mean, that's when people probably fell off the wagon. They didn't jump on the wagon. Yeah. So to go through all that, the mental aspect, to be wanting to get in the ring, obviously it would have gave you something to look forward to as well on your days. And I've got this coming up, I've got that coming up, and then to fast forward, and you're in the ring in the Middle East. You're representing Scotland in the Middle East. You've got a great trainer in Andy Roberts. You've been in the ring with the likes of Jason Reed and whatnot. You've got the title of being the first woman to compete against the first homegrown talent in Dubai. These are good little accolades that you've added up very quickly, by the way. And I can imagine your family when you say, right, I'm going to be a wrestler now at 30, probably think, oh, it's a midlife crisis.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've had that. I've had that a lot. But I think people can see it now.
Yeah.
Like for that the first, I debuted after 9 months. But in those 9 months, I poured everything, and I still do pour everything into it. Like my whole heart and soul goes into this. And I think, and I do appreciate my friends and family, because I have probably been a little bit more withdrawn than I probably would have been before starting this, because a lot of my time does go into this. And I do appreciate them for supporting that. But I also think that it was probably harder in that first year, that first 9 months, whatever, where there was not that there wasn't anything to show for it, because like I obviously like looked healthier and happier and all that sort of stuff. But being able to tell people how special these moments are now, and how much all of that hard work has got me these things so far, and the fact that the possibilities are endless at this stage. If I continue on the way that I'm going, it's very difficult to see what's in the future, but I can only feel that it's going to continue the way that it's going, and I'm very grateful for my journey so far. And I think being able to explain that to my friends and family, like I think they're starting to get it now, especially with the Dubai thing, and everybody's seen the videos and stuff. They all came to see my very first match, so wow. To be able to show them the difference in a year, they're all just completely beside themselves. I mean, they're not surprised, because of the type of person that I am. Like, they all know me. It's a very nice thing to be able to do, and I think it makes it all worth it.
Were you always a wrestling fan then? Like, what inspired you to eventually get in the ring?
Yeah, so it's been a bit of a funny one as well. So I started watching it during the Attitude Era, because my brothers watched it. And I used to watch it from our stairs, like our living room had a glass door, and I would watch it through there because my mom and dad didn't want me to watch it.
Yeah.
And then it just got to the point where they were like, she's going to watch it. So I watched it for like the whole of the Attitude Era, and I remember I had a VHS of a pay-per-view, and I watched it non-stop. And I still can't find out to this day which one it was, so I'm still working on that.
Oh, wow.
I used to watch it all the time, and I was Edge's biggest fan. And then once I got to be a teenager, I kind of fell out of it a little bit. And my brother actually started watching it again and going to WWE live shows around 2010, and I made fun of him for it, which is funny now. And then it wasn't until the first all women's Royal Rumble in 2018 that I really got back into it, and it saved my life at that point, because I was kind of bit of a crossroads, a bit of a dead end with all the stuff that I was doing at that point. I wasn't really happy in anything that I was doing, and it was something to look forward to. It made me feel something, and it inspired me to that point. And it was actually a promo from Becky Lynch, her kind of turning heel promo after SummerSlam, where she turned on Charlotte, that basically changed my whole entire life. And I have that moment to thank for where I am right now.
Wow, it's an amazing story. Everyone's got their story. I mean, obviously we've all had dips and troughs. You know, we've all dropped out of WWE at some point or whatnot.
Yeah.
I was the same as you. Watched the Attitude Era, and then I just jumped off. I think after Eddie died, it was around
Okay. Yeah.
2006,
Probably around the
seven.
same time.
Yeah. I just fell out of love because he was my guy. You know, The Rock had left. He
Yeah.
was my other guy. Kurt Angle had left. He was my other guy. I was like, there's no one I get an affiliation with. And I think it was the Summer of Punk that brought me back in. Obviously the
Okay.
pipe bomb. So there's always that one memory. Now you were saying
Yeah.
there about what you were watching growing up. I can imagine, I no disrespect to your Litas, your Stacys, and your Tories. You're not really, maybe Lita more so, but you're not going to grow up thinking, right, I want to be her or I want to be a wrestler like her. She's inspiring me. Obviously, it's developed now. Wrestling's come a long way. You've got the likes of your Charlottes and like your Rhea Ripley's and your Sasha Bankses, and the list goes on. Is that more of a state of how women's wrestling and women in pop culture has really grown over the last 15, 20 years? And a big statement for yourself saying, no, I wasn't inspired to be a wrestler when I was younger growing up, but girls nowadays, when they're growing up, will actually aspire to be a wrestler due to who's there in the ring at the moment.
Yeah. 100%. And I think for most of the sort of new women coming through in wrestling, that's probably the case, because a lot of people will start younger than me. But the fact that someone even my age and starting at 30 can turn around at 30 years old and go, oh, that looks like something I could do. That's something that I want to pursue, because look how amazing they are. And for me it was the confidence thing. So when I seen that promo and I started watching wrestling again, and especially women's wrestling, and because I'd missed that whole bit in the middle, when I got obsessed with it again in 2018, I went back and watched the full of the women's story. And then I went beyond that and went back and watched all of the women in the 80s, because that's really where Daisy Jenkins is like inspired from. My gears inspired by
Of course, yeah.
Sensational Sherry and all the rest of it. So I think like if you can look at them and the way that they carry themselves, the way that they talk, the way that it doesn't actually matter whether it's a male wrestler or a female wrestler. They're all the same. We're just wrestlers. So it's those women now. I mean, imagine, how can you not look at Rhea Ripley and go, I would love to be like her.
Yeah.
Every single thing about her.
Super
So
athletes.
inspirational. Yeah, super inspirational, and really shows you what level you can get to if you put the work in, for sure.
Who were your inspirations then, like growing up, like molding into a wrestler that you are today? You said Sensational Sherry.
Yeah, sensational Sherry, like Wendy Richter, like in terms of like technical ability, just unbelievable. Rockin' Robin's really cool too.
Wow. So
And
superhero
then
vibes, that's kind of your thing.
yeah, kind of, yeah. And then when I was younger, it was Lita and
Yeah.
Trish, and Edge was my favorite. I loved Kane, but I was scared of him.
Weren't we all?
Exactly. And then coming back into wrestling, it's really been Becky Lynch for the most part. That's inspired me the most. But watching the progression of Rhea Ripley too, because it's been quite quick and quite recent too. So yeah, all of those all rolled into one. You can take little bits from each person because everybody's so different. I think that's so cool about it as well.
Well, as a young female wrestler in, well, you could call it a male-dominated sport, what challenges have you faced along the way, and how have you had to overcome them?
To be honest, like I haven't encountered many. Certainly not in training. I think I'm very lucky with the group that I have. They're very supportive of me. They encourage me in ways that I can't describe, and two, I'm very grateful for. They don't let me get in my head, and they don't let me say that I can't do something. they're very supportive, and they say, it doesn't matter, like, you can do it. You can do it in your own way, even if like you can't do it the same. There's been a couple of times where I think it's been difficult being in a women's match and people maybe not being as interested. But I'm also very lucky to be coming into it at a point where a lot of women, especially on the independent scene here, have done so much work and done some amazing things to get it to the point where it is today. And you just can't deny it now, like,
Yeah.
It's really at a point where it really doesn't matter if it's a male or a female match. Like, people are interested, especially with the caliber of people that we've got in the UK right now. And there's so many intergender matches in the UK now too. Like, it just shows that you're a wrestler regardless. So I'm very thankful for the work that people have put in to get it to that level. So I think, there's been a couple of incidences where, people haven't been that into the match for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But it nothing that really sticks out in my mind. It's not something that I focus on, really.
If you had a young girl come up to you and they've got the idea saying, you know what, I might be interested in wrestling, what advice would you have for them?
I say do it all the time. Just do it. There's no doubt in my mind that if there's that even little bit of spark that you have in there, if someone tells you to go for it and you do, like, you will succeed. And wrestling's one of those things that there's a place for everybody. So even if the wrestling doesn't come to you, maybe a ref does, maybe commentary does, maybe, behind the scenes doing the show, maybe promoting all that sort of stuff, or doing video packages, or doing the amazing artwork that people put into, even like match graphics and promo pictures and photography and all these things. There's so much stuff that you can get into, and it's not just about the wrestlers in the ring, it's about everything that goes into that. So if anybody's got that little spark, then they should exercise it in some way. And the highlight of everything for doing this, and especially with the work that I put in, is there's two instances of little girls coming up to me. There's one at an FPWA show after my match with Danny Luna, and I know her dad. So I was like saying hi to her dad, and she was like, "There's absolutely no way that you know her." She was like, "Oh my god, Daisy Jenkins." I was like, "Oh my god, that's crazy, yeah." But then he put up a story on Instagram later on, being like, "I had Lita, and she has Daisy." And to me, that was just like one of the best things that I've ever experienced. Just that feeling. And then the other one was, there was a couple of girls who came up to myself and Roxxy after our match in Dubai and just talked about how inspirational it was. And those are the moments that I will carry on. And if I'm ever having, like a bad day or whatever, like, I can think of that and go, well, maybe, because my whole thing when I started wrestling was that wrestling changed my life. And if I could be part of changing someone else's life, then I've done everything that I set out to do. So the fact that these things are coming in and people are saying these things to me, even at this stage, I can't imagine what it's like for people who are further along the line than I am and stuff like that. So the fact that I can even feel it at this stage, like, it can only go up from here.
So what would you say so far in your short career has been the most memorable moment of your life, wrestling career-wise?
There's definitely a few, but the energy in the room as I raised Roxy's hand at the end of our match in Dubai, I think the amount of respect that I think was mutual at that point, and the fact that the match was so well received, and just the energy in the room, I'll never forget it.
Wow. Just quickly, before we leave, I just wanted to, I can't go without saying, obviously you were on the WWE Network, obviously taking on the likes of Roxxy Malone. How was that? Just seeing yourself on the network. What was that like?
Crazy. My debut was actually on the network, so that's even crazier. And I've got screen recordings of me going on to the WWE Network, clicking it, and then searching my name, and then me coming up, just so that it's always it'll go there. ICW isn't on the WWE Network anymore; it's on Fight Plus. But there is nothing more surreal than seeing that. Seeing that on there. And again, it's something that I'll always have.
Yeah.
It's absolutely mental. Yeah, but it's really something. There's no words to describe it, really, isn't there?
Look, if you can't mark out for yourself, then when can you mark out? You know?
Okay, I'll maybe take that on board and see if that's something I can do in the future. I'm not very good at it.
You've got to do it sometime. It's been awesome speaking to you, by the way. Been an absolute play. A shame it's not in person. Obviously, circumstances happen and whatnot. But the question is, are you going to be back in Dubai?
I hope so, and I'm hoping that I can make it happen by the end of the year.
Wow. That's a big statement.
It is a big statement, but I'm thinking that there's a potential.
Wow. Well, you've heard it here first. Where can the people find you until then?
So I'm most active on Instagram, which is Daisy.Jenkins PW.
That's where they find you. Next time as well, we're going to do it in studio. We'll send you home with the merch.
Yes, please.
We've got to send you home with the merch. We always send every guest home with the merch, no matter who you are.
Am I the only one that doesn't?
You're the only one. You're the only one. So you just got to let me know if you like it in white or black, because we have both. So it's up to you.
Okay, I'll have that.
And we'll get that ready for you. Exactly. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
And yeah, we'll see you soon.
Thanks.